Y'all still bills, what's the dizzle, man? We back, top of the week. Y'all know how the story go, man. Nigga heading to do what I do, to provide for the familiar. But peep, gang, man, I didn't get the, politic about this past weekend's festivities. It was a pretty eventful weekend for me, man. I had my baby shower. Then I had my Rello's baby shower yesterday early, and I came home, I cut the grass, and I, finished assembling my dresser, so I couldn't get on here and say shit. So let's talk about it, man. The first fight I want to talk about is Diego Pacheco, man. Congrats on the win. You won in dominant fashion, as we all figured you would, but it wasn't the best showing of Diego Pacheco, man, and I don't know how I feel about that, because I think I'm not saying he should have went out there and knocked out Trevor McCumbee, but I feel like he could have stamped that win in more emphatic fashion. That is not the way you want to win in today's era of boxing. You dig? You don't want him to come. You don't want to be perceived as this, as a boring fighter, which is wild, because up until now you've never had that issue with being a boring fighter. You do want to make it exciting, and go out there and win in dramatic fashion. You won in dominant fashion, but not in dramatic fashion, man. You spent a lot of time just maintaining the distance. And for the level of counterpuncher that you are, I feel like you could have really forced him to open up a little bit more on his offense and capitalized on that, and you didn't. You controlled the distance with the jab, and just honestly just staying at a range where he knew that I can't get, in order for me to get to you, I'm gonna have to walk through certain fires to get to you, and I don't want to walk through them fires, because it ain't like you just you're standing out there because you don't have the power to engage and stay in the pocket. You hit like a mule, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it was blowing me that you didn't really put that shit to use. You just you just stood there, for a long time, and I don't know where this shit has come from. I don't know if it's because of how much Nelson pushed you in your last fight, or what. We're just dealing with a counterpuncher, because Trevor McCumbee is there's good dimensions in his game, man. The dude is he's fast as fuck. He clearly had the speed advantage over you. You dig? But and he's a big puncher. He's a good counterpuncher himself. So I don't know if you was a little bit more leery of that, which is understandable, because don't nobody want to go in there and get off. So I understand it, but you was at a distance to where you could, you controlled him at range, bro. You controlled him pretty easily at range without even letting the shot go. But goddamn, man, that was hard to watch, especially coming off of the Sulecki win, man. Like that was a really, really, really good win. Before that, the Coceres win. Like, you strung together some real good wins in dramatic fashion. And for you to go in there and just put on, lay that egg like that, it's kind of like, yo, my nigga, what is we doing? Like, that just wasn't a good performance. That wasn't a good outing from you. But you did win in dominant fashion, man. I think you could have popped the jab a little bit more. You could have do some backhands off of that. You could have. You're smart enough to where you could keep him guessing. Where you don't gotta hit him with. You don't gotta just sting him with the jab. Feint the jab, bring the hook over the top. You could have really played with that dude. We didn't really see no right hands like that. We just saw a lot of controlling the distance and staying at a range to where you're out of trouble. If you could have did that in more dramatic fashion, then just this time we wouldn't even be having this conversation, or I wouldn't be having this conversation. But fuck, you gotta do better than that, my man. You cannot. You need that is not, bro. You off of the last fights that you done had, and when you're in front of an opponent like that who's not on your level, you shouldn't be getting booed, bro. You should not be getting booed. It just shouldn't be happening like that, man. Don't do that again. Please don't. Please don't, because you're too much of a player in the division to where we cannot afford just stock to drop that low. I don't know, I don't know. I don't want to just, attribute that to the trainer. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But if he did tell you to go in there and just maintain, but no, I can't even say that because I think they would tell you from what I heard through the the commentators, because I was watching it on the playback, and I would fast forward in between the minute rest periods between the rounds. So I would fast forward through it, and the trainer was saying, all right, man, you're gonna have to start stepping in. Jose Senior is telling you got to start stepping in, throwing uppercuts. You have to do that. You got to make it a fight. You got to take it to him. So you can't even blame Jose Senior in this, man. You cannot afford to have another performance like that, man. That was not a good performance. Dominant performance, not a good performance. You're better than that. You're way better than that. You're way too talented to just coast by like that. And I'm not saying that you should have been able to knock him out, man. I'm not a proponent of that. You're supposed to go in there and just put everybody in the, in the coffin. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Sometimes you're just not going to get rid of a motherfucker. And I think because Caleb Plant has more experience than you, he was able to go in there and impose his will on him. He did. That dude had never been past 8 rounds before he fought Caleb Plant. Now, but I haven't been in there with you. He's been 12. So that's more added experience to his game. But Caleb Plant is just a lot more seasoned than you are. He's a lot more seasoned. He's faster, so he can get out of the way of the shot, quicker. He's faster on his feet, clearly. So he had those additives in his game that he could go in and, not look the way that the way that you look. He was, going there and impose his will on him, step into the kill box. You did. You beat him at that range that he was most comfortable at. People are gonna have different attributes as fighters. You don't have the same attributes as Caleb Plant as far as speed is concerned, man. So I'm not, I wasn't expecting you to go in there and get rid of the dude, but I was definitely expecting you to go in there and make it a lot more dramatic than what it was. You're better than that. You could have kept that jab in his face. You could have threw the 2 off of the jab. You could have hooked off the jab. There was a lot of things you could have did, but you didn't do. I don't even need uppercuts. I didn't need the uppercuts. Just throw the uppercuts at a safe range, man. You gotta be in the kill box to do that shit. And I don't, clearly you didn't want to get hit by the dude. Cool. Stay at a range, but stay busy at that range. I don't know, man. You just fence with the jab, do a lot of posturing with your body movement, keep him guessing, feint more. There's a lot of things you couldn't do that you could have did that you didn't do. So I need a better performance from that, champ, and I know you will give me a better performance than that, but fuck. Damn. That was a hard watch, man, because I know how talented you are. So you'll be back, you'll be better than ever, and hopefully now we get a fight with you and like one of them ones in the division. I was really looking forward to you and Christian Mabili. This division is entirely too deep, so I'm hoping that your next fight is a big fight for you. Somebody that's going to force you not to fight like that. But nonetheless, congratulations on the win. Sky's the limit for you, in your next bout. And I'm looking forward to your next bout because I will be tuning in. But just please don't give me another performance like that, bro. My heart can't take it, man. So that's how I'm feeling about that, man. I will tap back in with y'all when I get off for work. Well, maybe. I don't know. I'll get with y'all later, though. Deuces.